Elimination Chamber 2026 is done. There is no undoing it, unless we can make a Back to the Future Part 4 about that pay-per-view, but that would be weird. Hello, my friends. Simon Miller, I am back. Excuse my face if I look like a gaunt fool. Somebody went away. That would be me. We talked about it last week. But I got food poisoning. I got food poisoning, so I was a very sick panda for the last 48 hours. However, I can't miss the Elimination Chamber. And if you want to send me some health, click the thumb down there and click the subscribe button. Apparently that will make me feel better. But yes, I have plenty of thoughts about this because my gosh, there's a lot happened on this show. Let's talk about it. So we start with the Women's Elimination Chamber, which was Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Alexa Bliss versus Kiana James versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Tiffany Stratton. I didn't hate it, which is a weird way for it to start, but some people seem to have really disliked this for one reason or another. I don't think it was as good as Elimination Chambers we've seen in the past. I don't like this idea. This is something I saw a lot too. Not that we should be addressing that all the time, but something I did see was, it didn't feel very sort of violent. I think we need to remember how awful that cage is to be thrown into. I know they've changed the floor around it, which just used to be horrific metal, and now there's more, well, not more padding, but it's not as bad as it was. But I think getting thrown into that thing, getting through those pods is absolutely horrendous. I mean, Tiffany Stratton was bleeding, and really it comes down to the moments that we chose in all of this. Let's get the big one out of the way. Rhea Ripley winning is the correct decision. Now, I always thought it would be Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. I think WWE thought that too. But Bianca Belair's had such an awful time with her finger, she's probably not going to be cleared. So all the best to her. It sounds like a horrific injury. Who knew you could injure a finger so badly? And Rhea Ripley is the best option. That's why I thought it was smart that WWE had Lash Legend and Nia Jax win the tag team titles, because now I imagine Io can go after the US belt. And Rhea Ripley obviously now is confirmed she's going after Jade Cargill. One very interesting match. I think if WWE plays that right and doesn't let it go too long, it could be super duper good because it is two powerhouses. And I said this on Ups and Downs. Again, What Culture, I'm back on there now too, freelancing for the reviews. You do not have to like Rhea Ripley. You do not have to like Jade Cargill. You don't have to like CM Punk. You don't have to like Seth Rollins. You don't have to like anyone, right? It's an entertainment show, and some people you will lean to more than others. But to act like Rhea Ripley isn't the biggest star in the WWE Women's Division is crazy. Now, I thought the crowd was quite quiet during the Chamber show. Somebody actually DM'd me and said, no, not true. I don't know why it didn't come across on TV. But from my vantage point where I was watching it, listening to it, whatever you want to call it, I thought they sounded quite quiet. When Rhea Ripley came out and when she came in for her in the Chamber, they went crazy. They popped big when she won. I just don't think, what else could we have done? Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton, we have done that match. I don't want to see it again. If Asuka would have won, no problems there. I'll talk about it in just 1 second. I think Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair is a much more interesting match given their, tag team over the last year or so. Kiana James, love the fact she's getting a push, but I just don't think it's time to do that right now. And Raquel Rodriguez still comes out of this feeling like a badass because she destroyed everyone, and actually she double pinned Kiana James and Asuka after she hit the Tawana bomb and was Kiana through the pod, right? And actually that is something I do want to talk about because, my gosh, talk about conflicting emotions. Because I thought this was great. Raquel is not going to win. This is how she should have been portrayed. An absolute beast, an absolute monster. And even the way she was taken out, Rhea Ripley did this terrifying cannonball. And Tiffany Stratton hit with a PME for the 1-2-3, and it rhymes, so it must be true. It felt like she got totally murked. And I love the fact she got a double pin. She got a stacked pin. She got the Roman Reigns treatment. And that means you're doing well in somebody's eyes. But I just can't handle people being Asuka, right? I've got a real problem. I think, not a problem, that's too strong, because I think that you should be able to do whatever you want. But I think Asuka's work since she's come back from injury has been so good, she should have made it to the final two. I understand why WWE puts Tiffany Stratton in there, because they see her as a big star, but sometimes I think you just have to go with the energy in the room, and Asuka quite clearly on this show was so over. There was even a Let's Go Asuka chant, which kind of makes us all terrible human beings, and I include myself in that too, because let's not forget how she treats Kairi Sane. I was still like, yeah, Asuka, go, go, go. Now really this was Asuka playing her veteran card, and making sure Raquel Rodriguez like a badass. And like I say, I really was torn, like Natalie and Imbruglia. One had, oh wow, it's so cool to see Raquel getting this kind of treatment, I suppose. But Asuka just deserves more. Like, I would have taken Asuka versus Jade Cargill, even though we've seen that before, right? King of the Ring last year, I believe it was. It's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter, because ultimately, as soon as Rhea Ripley wins, it doesn't matter who loses. And that's why I kind of like Raquel got this big push as well, because otherwise, what are we going to do with her, right? So we made sure there was stuff to come out of this. For example, I have no idea what Tiffany Stratton does at WrestleMania. I hope we don't somehow ham her into a three-way way, because I think we're doing that with the WWE title, and you don't want to do it twice. But it was a fun match. I thought it was very, very easy to watch. Alexa Bliss getting herself taken out by Asuka Smith because she had to look at the WrestleMania sign. She had the Sister Abigail and Kiana James ready to go, but she had to look at the WrestleMania sign. Too ridiculous even for me, and I like goofy wrestling. It is for life, and that would be my contentious point when we get to things later on in the evening. But hey-ho, I guess it was something. And again, Alexa Bliss is kind of protected right now because I think she can go heel and feud with Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair has to stay babyface now. Her ice cream spot on SmackDown saying, I'm fine. I really enjoy her. It seems like she's just being Ashley, for lack of a better term. Don't like using wrestlers' real names, but you know what I'm talking about. And again, Kiana James at the start of her upswing now in WWE. Quite clearly something has changed in the dynamic between her and Julia, although flub me sideways, do we need to push Julia more as well? I thought it was enjoyable. I think one year we can switch it around, let the women go last and let the men go first, although we had the masked man reveal, I suppose, on this show, so you don't want to do too much. I don't think it's a match we're going to be talking about for long, but again, not everything has to be the best or worst thing ever. It can just be there, and really that's what I would say for the whole show. Nothing totally blew me away, but you could sit down and you could enjoy it, and then finally be like, I kind of understand where WWE is going for WrestleMania, because maybe they didn't know before this show. We then got Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee for the IC title. And again, very nice, simple stuff. I'm not saying they took this from me. I'm not saying that at all. It just popped me, to use wrestling vernacular. But I took on Josh Holly in a Progress ring last month. Please do check it out. You can go to hookedonwrestling.com and sign up. It's very, very cheap. And you can watch all my Progress stuff. And actually now they've got a bunch of other companies that they show, videos from as well. So you can watch a bunch of live show from the UK and beyond. But our match revolved all around the top turnbuckle getting exposed and Josh eventually running into it, knocking himself out. I hit the spear, the ups and downs, which is my finishing move, so I'm that kind of a guy. 1, 2, 3. So to see it operated on the biggest stage, maybe that's why I like this more. But I also thought, once again, this was just clever. It was AJ Lee's first match in 10 years. I'm not saying that she couldn't have handled more, but if everybody sat down and said, we don't need to do much more here because we're in Chicago, essentially your hometown, everyone's going to go crazy, and you're winning the title, plus we're continuing on this bizarre thing with referee Jessica Carr, which I do enjoy. No problem with it at all. Now, my one criticism, to be a massive nerd, is that once the turnbuckle had been exposed and Jessica was trying to put it back on, Becky pushed AJ Lee into the referee, who went headfirst into that steel, and she started like, oh no, my eye. And then she did the pin. Referees go down with a blow of wind. Oh no. I've completely been incapacitated. So that was weird. But ultimately, Becky kept trying to use that. The referee then got knocked down when AJ Lee kicked her after Becky Lynch had dark DDT on the chair, manhandle slam on the chair. AJ Lee basically survived everything. And of course, once the referee got knocked down, AJ Lee also applied the Black Widow. Becky Lynch taps out. That's just playing on wrestling tropes. Because even I was like, well, if you want to get out of jail free clause now, you totally can. Because AJ Lee can be like, I should have won, and now I need to re-challenge you at WrestleMania. Now I think Becky will win it back at Mania instead. But no, AJ Lee kicked out of everything. Eventually, like I say, Becky Lynch headbutts the steel. You get the Black Widow. Fair play to Becky Lynch, who tapped out instantly. And AJ Lee's the brand new women's champion. Again, I think we'll run it back at WrestleMania. I think we'll change the titles. I don't think we'll see AJ Lee a lot in 2026. Well, not a lot, but not a week-to-week character, which is why you never get back to Becky Lynch. Hopefully, Lyra Valkyria will challenge for this belt now that Becky has lost it again. I would call it inoffensive, which I think is a horrible term, and you're allowed to roll your eyes at me. But once again, super fun to watch. Am I ever going to go back and watch it again? No. Did I think it was an awesome moment for AJ Lee? Yes, I did. I think it was really, really nice, given how long she has been away. I mean, Wade Barrett pointed out on commentary, he has had a singles match in WWE sooner than AJ Lee has, which is a crazy stat. Also want to shout out Wade Barrett as well. I didn't say it on ups and downs. That's my bad. If I was going to give him an up here, which I can't do because I'm not going to gimmick infringement myself, he would absolutely get one. He has come into his own as the play-by, or the color commentator, I should say. He is so good, and he's only going to get better. So massive salute to that guy. But listen, if you wanted to skip this match, and all the information you need in your life is that AJ Lee won, I would totally get it. CM Punk versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship was next. Very, very good. People like to compare things straight away. As we know, comparison is the thief of joy. Because instantly go, well, was it better than the Belfast match? I mean, gun to my head, probably not. But we're talking about 2 back-to-back matches that were pretty damn good. And what I liked about them the most is that they felt like fights. It felt like Punk is a proper fighting champion, and Finn Balor was a dude desperate to get this stain off his record of the 2016 Universal Championship win. Well, he did have to retire that belt 24 hours later. CM Punk had the big Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls entrance, so that was cool. Finn Balor was just, well, he was beloved kind, and then he sort of healed on the crowd. That quieted them down a little bit. It was funny. The crowd was just not very into this show at all from the television point. And even Michael Cole was saying, well, you know, Finn Balor, he's just wound this crowd up so much they've gone silent. I'm not sure that's a thing, Michael Cole, but I do appreciate it. I guess the issue here wasn't about who was going to win and lose. We all knew CM Punk was going to win. It would have been stupid to give it to Finn Balor, although I hope he does have titles in his future. And it was really my prediction that you may have seen last week, or this week I should say, was that the Judgment Day were going to come down, they were going to interfere, they were going to cost Finn Balor, but we did the opposite. When CM Punk kicked out of the coup de grace, after Finn had tried to hit it a couple of times, he looked at the entranceway as, good, I'm glad you're not coming, and then he shook CM Punk's hand at the end as well. I think that will be the reason Dom and JD McDonough get mad. And it should be Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor for the IC title at WrestleMania, and Finn Balor should win, and we should disband the Judgment Day. It's just time. There's nothing else you can do with them. They've already peaked. They've already sort of not served their time. There's just a shelf life to all of these groups, and I definitely think that we've hit that. But the finish was interesting just because there was a really cool spot, I should point out, when Finn Balor went for the second coup de grace and CM Punk reversed that into a sharpshooter. If you have 10 seconds free today, just watch it. It's so well done. Like, it looks great. It looks real, dare I say, to use ridiculous words like that. But then after this, they kind of brawl to the outside. CM Punk gets thrown through the barrier. Then you get the coup de grace sharpshooter spot. And as soon as Finn Balor gets out of it, gets to the ropes, CM Punk kind of looks at him, gives him a salute, and Finn Balor's like, oh no, I think it's the end for me. And then you get the GTS 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't mind that. I think we have to remember what we complain about throughout the years. And CM Punk is basically getting over the GTS as a finisher again. I understand why CM Punk kicked out the coup de grace. He's the champion. He's got to look strong for Roman Reigns. So I don't mind that when I do sit down and really let my brain go through it. It just felt anticlimactic. But then I'm like, why can't a match feel anticlimactic? It wasn't the main event. They knew there was 2 more segments to go. And also, CM Punk had him beat. He tried this reverse, it didn't work. Finn Balor was out of HP, and CM Punk obviously activates his special move, gets the 1, 2, 3. See it in video games all the time, and wrestling to me is just one big video game. I just liked it. I don't think you could have been disappointed, even if you're the biggest Finn Balor fan in the world, because you really would have to wrap yourself up in knots to believe that he was going to win. They're really great bedfellows for each other. They have great chemistry. I doubt they'll ever work with each other together again, so thank goodness we got these 2 matches. They could be in a tag team maybe down the line. That would be fun, because again, Finn Balor should go super babyface. I just thought it was a good match, and I think it was simple in a way, but it was more deliberately simple. It's like, well, I've got to beat you and you've got to beat me. I just enjoyed it. I think CM Punk really does make all his feuds feel important, and he feels like a proper world champion. Please check out my video from Friday. We ranked all the champions. Who's the best right now? Who's the worst? It didn't do well. That upsets me. Problem is I'll never do it again, but it's out there. Great stuff. Finn Balor now needs to be upper mid-card for ages in that IC title reign, and a world title reign should be in his future as well before he does retire, because if anyone deserves it, it's that guy. Terrific pro wrestler. I think CM Punk just works in this environment. I very much enjoyed it. All right, let's talk about it, because this is so hard to get into from my vantage point, and I think this is when we need a little bit of less black and whiteness in professional wrestling and all entertainment mediums, because multiple things can be true. Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce drag out the big old crate, the big old box that we've been talking about for the last month. Then they just leave. Straight away, I'm having the best time. Why would you be so concerned about this box and then just flub off as soon as you're about to find out who it is? A coffin is inside, the coffin creaks open, and then because WWE can't help themselves, a brand new theme tune starts, and we have the catchphrase at the beginning, right? You are cursed, whatever it was. I was like, why? Why do you do this, WWE? Out come a bunch of dancing women. It's quite clear Danhausen. They got the Danhausen paint on. Out comes Danhausen. And this is literally what happened, okay? We'll talk about everything else later. Don't worry. We're going to get into everything. Danhausen walks the ring with his dancing women. He hands some teeth to Michael Cole. He gets in the ring. There is a deliberately bad pyrotechnic, just a puff of smoke. Things go dark. And he vanishes, right? Like he's Batman. Now, let's also not forget there was at least 12 to 15 people involved in this routine. Somehow they've all been alive in a box for the last month. For a man that prides himself on 4 words, goofy wrestling for life, I thought this was tremendous. I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was so utterly ridiculous, and not everybody would be able to get away with this. You need to have a certain character, and you need to have a certain type of gimmick. However, there is a part 2 to it. I understand it, and I actually think I have an idea what happened to begin with. Because yes, when this was done, the crowd reaction was, I don't want to say it was negative, but there were definitely some boos. It was so strange, and this is why I need people who were there to tell me. When he first came out, there was a pop. Was it as big as I expected? Absolutely not. And then when we were done, there were boos. Now, to try and at least open my brain to some questions, is it because they expected Danhausen to do something more? Is it because they expected Chris Jericho? Is it because there is a disconnect between the WWE audience and who Danhausen is? I do not know. I am convinced that Danhausen will get himself over on WWE TV. I know this because when I first discovered Danhausen a few years ago, I was like, I don't get this at all. And it took no time at all before I was like, oh no, it's the funniest thing ever. It's so, so good. And I think maybe a missed opportunity, and I said this on What Culture, I say it here as well, Danhausen knows Danhausen better than I. So he may have come up with this idea. I just thought, and it may have been the only time in the history of wrestling you could have done this. Get rid of the pomp and circumstance, which we know that WWE loves. Moments, man. It's all about moments. Because of the Danhausen character, which sure, you may not be aware of if you're a WWE fan. I totally understand that. But we have to give things time to see how they're going to settle in. I don't like this comparison to the gobbledygooker. Nobody knew the gobbledygooker was for the gobbledygooker popped out of an egg. At least Danhausen been busting his ass the last however long it's been. But I just think you could have had him come out of the box and been like, I understand what's going on. Do you want to buy some merch? Do you want to talk about money? And done all of his sort of funny Danhausen things that he has done. Because he is the one character where you could have stripped it all back and you could have made it more like a Seinfeld skit, really, or a Curb Your Enthusiasm skit, where the awkwardness is deliberate, and you get the kind of, what are you doing? It could have been an absolute bust, and it could have been the worst idea. But I think sometimes when you are doing a big debut for a character that is just so unique, you should lean into it all the way. But just to double down on what I just said, Danhausen understands how to do Danhausen better than some random person on the internet. I'm a huge fan of him. For complete transparency too, I've said this twice, I say it 3 times, I did wrestle a match with Danhausen in August of 2024, I believe, for UPW, they're now called BLW. Had the time of my life, right? He was on my checklist of people. He's a wonderful person. So if you want to say, oh, Simon, you're just being kind to your friend, maybe I am. I don't think that's true. I'll always be transparent. I'll always be honest, because what's the point? How can I have a platform if I'm not honest with you? Why would you watch me? It'd be a waste of your time. But I did enjoy it. In fact, I was disappointed with the crowd response. And again, that's not on anybody that was there. You paid your money. You can cheer, you can boo, you can sit on your hands and do absolutely nothing. It's your money, man. You've earned that time and you've earned that right. But from somebody watching from home, I was a bit like, oh man, it would have been nicer if it had been a bit more over the top. But everything else was just so crazy. If somebody rang me up right now and said, Simon, do you want to debut? And you walk to the ring, you hand somebody some teeth, and then you disappear in a really bad puff of smoke, I'd be like, please, I want that more than main eventing WrestleMania. A part of me does. I'm not going to lie. But this is what I mean about the inconsistencies about how we review something. You could say, watching it, it didn't go to plan in the way that WWE may have expected. I would totally understand that. But I liked it. Again, my negative criticisms come from, I would have loved it if he got a bigger response. But that's nothing to do with anything. Some people, we've already seen on the internet, obviously love jumping on people when things apparently don't go the way we expect them to. But I still loved it for what it was. So again, my upsetness, whatever words we want to use, come from the fact that it would have been so cool if everybody reacted like I had. But that's not fair either. That would be a crazy way to expect things. We have to wait and see with this one. I certainly didn't think it was bad by any stretch of the imagination. Anything. I think it's a wonderful advert for independent wrestlers out there. You can make it, man. If you can just find an amazing niche to lean into. I just think once we get into it, once we get the interactions with people, which is what Danhausen is the best at, I think that's how him and CM Punk became friends to begin with, I think it's going to be a massive success, and I'm certainly excited to see it. So, very interesting. Who knew that Danhausen coming out of a crate could provide so much, well, back and forth and so much conversation about what pro wrestling is and how we like something and how we don't like something. But I'm very excited to see where this goes. But I want to make it very clear, if you thought it was a bit of a letdown's too strong, I think that's unfair. But yeah, if it missed the mark, I could understand that, because it just didn't go the way that I was expecting it to either. Like, it really, really didn't, because that was how I felt at the end of it. I was like, man, I would have liked a little bit more. And then I did come up with that idea. Imagine he just walked out like, yeah, I was in a coffin, I was in a box. What's the problem? I gotta get here somehow. And it was free. He could have said something like that because he's so obsessed with money. I got here, they shipped me all across the United States of America. But it's still goofy wrestling for life. So I'm going to put some positivity out there in the world. I think in a month or so, we'll just be so entertained by the man, because he is entertaining. And if I'm wrong, I promise you we'll talk about it. Men's Elimination Chamber. I like Randy Orton winning. Simple as that. I did not like the Logan Paul super duper monster man. Although I understand why WWE did this. I think originally that was probably how Bron Breakker was going to be booked, if he was going to be in the chamber. And absolutely, I think Bronson Reed was meant to win that match on Raw. And you totally could have booked Bronson Reed like that. Now, all the best to Bronson Reed. Screw wrestling. That man tore his biceps. I think he's had surgery. Hope he's okay, and I hope he's back ASAP. But I just didn't think it worked for Logan Paul. And WWE did try to protect the character, because he obviously cheated to beat Trick Williams. Not cheated, but he took a fast one to beat Trick Williams. But he takes out LA Knight by smacking him in the balls, devastating roll-up. He basically takes advantage of Javon Evans being in a vulnerable position, hits a terrifying-looking pulverizer right on his head, and he beats him. So both these times, he's been a little bit of a cheapskate. And then with Trick, he gets crossroads, and obviously Logan Paul throws Cody out the way, and he gets the 3. Now, I get it. I think it's probably going to be Rollins versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania Part 2. I do like that, because of course it's a callback to what Logan Paul did to Seth Rollins a few years ago. But you do need to heat him up. He doesn't need to feel like a super duper whooper mega star, because Seth Rollins is of the same ilk. But I can't help it. Again, this goes back to the Danhausen stuff. I just follow my tum-tum, man. I just follow my gut. And I was like, I don't want to see Logan Paul take out LA Knight, Javon Evans, and Trick Williams. Trick and Javon are brand new, and I think they should at least got one pin or come up with something where they felt... I mean, Javon did do a lot of cool stuff, and Trick is just Trick, man. He's going to be fine regardless. I think we could have given them more. And dare I say it, listen, I'm a huge LA Knight fan. I say this with positivity in my brain, but it's just like an afterthought. He didn't do anything. I don't care he stepped on the rope either. People slip. Who cares, man? My gosh, people go so out of board with this kind of stuff. But those 3, I mean, LA might more than the other 2, because at least, had the Javon Cody thing at the start. And then, once again, Trick Williams just comes out. People love him. So he's over. That's all that matters. Was it Cody Rhodes that said, don't get better, get over? He probably didn't say that. But it's a wonderful, wonderful quote. And Trick Williams is just the absolute man. But the funny thing was, as soon as Logan Paul had pinned Trick for the 3rd elimination, the match zoomed up. We got the second fake masked man who gets dragged away as Trick Williams is coming out the door. The real masked man comes in, he stomps Logan Paul, whips his hood off, and it is Seth Rollins after Cody Rhodes has taken advantage of that. Cody didn't care. It was Seth Rollins. I love the fact it was Seth Rollins. I think the simplest story here was the best. I actually thought no, negative's too strong. The ridiculous part of it was Paul Heyman acting like, what? Seth Rollins? Like, dude, you must have had an inkling it could have been Seth Rollins. Even if you think he's injured, he's not in a wheelchair. Like, you'll be able to move around the place. So that was a bit too much, but again, it's wrestling. You should sell everything up to the 2 9s. And listen, if Bron Breakker can come back, you can still do Seth versus Bron Breakker. That feels unlikely to me. So yeah, Logan Paul just eliminate 3 people in the chamber. So there is logic to all of this. And again, 2-3 years ago, the reason we got Seth versus Logan the first time is because Logan Paul screwed over Seth, so now he's repeated that. And I like Seth Rollins as a babyface. Let's see what we can do with that. I've got no issues there. So that was good. And that was a good reveal of the Masked Man, especially after the madness we had on Friday. And the finish, I thought, was especially fun. Because instantly Drew McIntyre runs out, right? The door, no one closes the door in the Elimination Chamber anymore. It's not a chamber. It's an Elimination Hole. That's what I'm going to call it. So the hole is going on. Drew McIntyre runs out. He clobbers Cody Rhodes right in the head with the belt. They start to fight. Randy's like, no. So he drops Drew McIntyre with the RKO. Cody then hits the crossroads, which Randy Orton was going like, yeah, kid, get him right now. And then Randy Orton, remembering what happened the last time he faced Cody, this was good stuff, drops him with the RKO instantly and pins him for the 1-2-3. No hesitation, learning from the past. He's now going to WrestleMania. But then the aftermath, the post-show, Nick Aldis has a meltdown and says, you know what, Drew, I'm sick of you. It's Cody versus you this Friday night, so you can see what's happening here. Everybody has predicted a multi-man for this WrestleMania match for the WWE title. There'll be a schmoz here, maybe with Cody, maybe with Jacob for 2, and we get to a 4-way. Now, does it make a little bit of a fast, the Elimination Chamber? Yes. But as I just told you, it's now an Elimination Hole. And when it's an Elimination Hole, it doesn't feel as bad to take those rules and throw it out there. We're going to have to put Randy in a strong position, because why would he be cool with this? Unless he triggers it somehow, but why would he do that? But I will wait and see, but I'm convinced now we're getting a 4-way. Though what Sami Zayn does, I don't know. Maybe it's Sami Zayn versus Trick versus Javon. I don't know. I'm making things up right now. But the finish was great. Like, as soon as Logan Paul had been taken out by Seth, it felt really fun. Randy winning felt like a surprise. Him taking advantage didn't feel heelish, even though you could argue maybe it's the start of a heel turn. But it's just him learning, and he is a veteran. So I thought all that was really fun, but I would still put this match in the category of the women's one. I'll never need to watch it again, right? It felt very much like we need to get to WrestleMania. We finally established the plans. This is the direction we're headed in. And it's fun from a story point of view, because Cody will get into that match. I could be wrong, but I'm 99% convinced that I'm right. But right now, if you just want to enjoy it week to week, day to day, hour by hour, Cody, sort of in his last chance, wasn't able to qualify for Mania, which is very interesting for that character. So really good. Love the idea of having Randy Orton win as well. So it was a fun show, and it was over in 3 hours. But I've said that twice now, and I realized that it shouldn't have even been 3 hours. These were the shortest chamber matches in ages. I think they were both sans 30 minutes, but I could be wrong. But there's just so many adverts and so much padding. It feels pointless to complain about it now. It's like, oh, AEW pay-per-views are too long. We know this. We talk about it all the time. So let's just accept that WWE is going to have too many adverts, and more often than not, AEW have pay-per-views that are too long. But I did enjoy myself. I think mostly because I knew I got to make this video, my big proper sort of topical comeback video as well. I've only been gone a week. I think I've been gone for 6 months. I'm an idiot. But The Danhausen thing I think is interesting. I think it's going to split people down the middle. The Logan Paul thing I think will split people down the middle. The Rhea Ripley thing will too, for one reason or another. Maybe even the Becky Lynch, AJ Lee stuff, although I doubt it. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. And there's no right or wrong here. If you thought the Danhausen thing wasn't for you, I totally get it, man. If you love the Logan Paul thing, I totally get it. But please do let me know. So, not as good as Elimination Chambers from the last couple of years. I think that would be fair, even though once again I'm comparing the thief of the joyness. But again, I did keep up with wrestling throughout the week because, again, I like it. And it was also my job. But in terms of sitting down and watching a 3-hour show, it was okay. It's what I will say. But I was happy that Danhausen debuted for WWE. I just think it's kind of inspiring. Now, my friends, if you are still here, please do drop me a comment below. As we've already talked about, when you are down there, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is going to be my ranked video. Just watch it. Don't just click it and leave, right? I don't care. It didn't do very well in views. It hurts my soul. And subscribe and do all that stuff as well. Otherwise, if you go to grillermind.com/Simon right now and use the code Simon, the brand new rainbow sherbet flavor is live. I tried this yesterday. It's just awesome, man. They're just the best. You don't have to believe me, but it ships worldwide. Use my code to get money off. Patreon.com/Simon316 to support me there. Simon316 on social media to come and call me an idiot. Please do sign up to my TikTok at Simon Miller, as well as my cameos at Simon Miller and ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller for merchandise. It's nice to be back with you. Thank you for all the support when I was away. I'm now going to try and eat some food for the first time in 2 days. Don't get food poisoning when you are away. See you soon. Take care.